In the last session, we explored how VCs think, what they're actually looking for, and how you should approach them. Now, it's time to introduce the three musketeers of your fundraising toolkit: your pitch deck, your blurb, and your data room. These materials are how you get your foot in the door, tell your story, and earn investor conviction. So let's break them down, starting with your deck. For decades, the pitch deck has been one of the most powerful tools for getting investor buy-in. Think of it as your project's handshake: quick, clear, and confident. It's the very first thing that institutional investors will review to decide whether or not you're worth meeting. It can be used in live meetings, follow-ups, and even cold emails. So let's talk about what makes a deck actually work, especially in Web3. To start off, let me get one thing out of the way. Design matters. A decade or two ago, you might have gotten away with plain slides full of text. But today, in a hyper-competitive and saturated Web3 space, good design isn't just aesthetics. It signals credibility. Your deck's design should reflect who you are. Cohesive branding shows intentionality. Clean layout reflects clarity of thought. Strong visuals help engage and educate users. Think Ethereum's minimalist builder-first aesthetic, globally trusted. Uniswap's quirky unicorn design, instantly memorable. So be intentional. Use design to communicate trust, ambition, and uniqueness, because in Web3, branding often substitutes for regulation. Your pitch deck is not meant to explain everything, at least not in the first conversation. Your goal is to tell a tight 5 to 10 minute story that makes the investor lean in and say, "Tell me more." Let them lead the questions after your pitch. That's how you learn about what they care about and how you prepare for the follow-up. So, what do you actually put in your deck? Let's break it down. At One Piece Labs, we've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of successful decks. And the format that consistently works is intro, problem, solution, market size, competitors, traction, team, and lastly, a strong finish. So let's go through each quickly. First off, your intro or mission page. This is your opening line. Keep it extremely clear and free of fluff. What exactly do you do? What is your mission in one line? Include key relevant buzzwords. Talking about mission statements, a great example is Helium. To build a decentralized wireless network that enables devices to connect to the internet from anywhere without the need for centralized infrastructure. This works because it's specific, visual, and clearly Web3. A bad example is SafeMoon's slogan in their PR. A human-focused innovation business expanding blockchain for a brighter tomorrow. This doesn't work because it's a lot of broad wording with zero meaning and industry relevance, so don't be like them. Next up is the problem page. Make the pain point real. Show that it matters. Be very concise. Add a stat or a quick insight. And don't over-explain something that your audience, in this case, the investor, likely already understands. Next up, the solution or the product page. Start high level. What is your product really solving? Use a second slide to highlight core features or technical edge, or even a quick product demo. Put a deeper technical architecture or user flow in the appendix. Be sure to have them ready if asked. Next up is the market size page. At the end of the day, investors are in it for the financial upside. So be sure to use this page to showcase the size and growth potential of your market. How large is the market? Who's going to be paying for your services? How much of the market can you realistically capture? Be sure to support your claims with solid data, charts, and reports. Now, the competitors page. Please, do not say that you have no competitors. There is always competition, no matter direct or indirect. A competitor slide shows that you've done good research and understand your edge. For the best results, use a table format to clearly highlight your unique advantages over your competition. Make sure to be specific down to the very last detail. Whether it's better incentive models, superior engagement mechanisms, or even more personalized customer support, list it all out. Attention to detail will for sure win you critical support from both users and investors alike. The traction page. This is arguably the most important slide in today's market. Since a couple months ago, VCs have shifted back to the fundamentals, focusing on traction, revenue, over just mere product ideation and unfulfilled go-to-market plans. Now, traction in Web3 can mean a variety of things, but a couple of key metrics can include user count, revenue generation, partnerships, community size, past grants, previous fundraising, and also media coverage. And yes, in Web3, Telegram, Discord, or X followers do matter. But remember, revenue is king. Self-sustaining projects with real revenue will be sure to stand out the most. Now, onto the team slide. Once again, VCs are backing the builders as much as, if not more than, the product. So make sure to highlight things such as your academic background, relevant work history, especially Web3 native ones, prior ventures or serial entrepreneurship, and lastly, team dynamics. How did you meet? Who's leading what? Now, last but not least, a strong finish page. Do not just say thank you. End with a purpose. Your goal is to briefly recap on why you're building this, why you are the right team, as well as why now is the right time. And always include your mission statement and a few big traction numbers one last time. Now, a couple of quick tips for a winning deck before we move on. Make it a story, not just slides. Keep it to 8 to 10 pages for the initial pitch. Use visuals over paragraphs. Speak to the slides instead of writing everything out. And yes, memes are fun, but don't overdo it. And most importantly, practice, because clarity equals confidence. Now, let's talk about your blurb. I want you to think of your blurb as your project's intro card. It travels through Telegram chats, Notion deal lists, and even email inboxes. A tried and true format we've seen time and time again is to start off with your project name and your mission statement. Follow that up with 3 to 4 key features or use cases. And then it's your impressive team highlights. Only the essentials, not the entire team's biography. And then it's your core traction metrics. Also, your notable investors, if there is any. And last but not least, your quick links to your deck, demo, and also data room. Ideally speaking, an investor should be able to get through your blurb in just 30 seconds. And keep in mind, be extremely clear and concise, because if someone can't explain your project after reading it, they will not invest. Your data room is where diligence happens. It's what investors dive into once they're interested. Each investor may look for different things, so your job is to make it easy for them to find what they care about. Here are a couple of basic docs to get you started. You can have financial docs on projections, revenues, tokenomics. You can have legal docs containing cap table, entity structure, or team docs containing your bios, hiring plans, market size docs containing your research, your TAM, SAM, and SOM, as well as your product docs including your roadmap, white paper, demo, or tech stack. Your go-to-market plans, for example, your growth plan or community metrics, or your competition docs containing in-depth analysis of the competitive landscape. And definitely be sure to include a general FAQ, things such as commonly asked investor questions that are already answered and aggregated in one place. Now, of course, your options are not limited to only the ones mentioned above, but the rule of thumb is that you should always tailor it based on who you're speaking to. Now, to recap, whether it's your deck, your blurb, or your data room, everything you create should be clear, concise, and navigable. Each piece serves a specific purpose, but together they create a full picture of your venture's potential. In the next session, we'll dive into public and alternative fundraising channels and how to think about ICOs, IEOs, IDOs, foundation grants, and everything in between. I'll see you there.